What is up, people? Welcome to the Live, Laugh, Lopez podcast, where we talk about all things life, marriage, ministry, and parenthood, all while sharing lots of laughs along the way. My name is Jose Lopez, and with me I have my beautiful wife,
Natalie Lopez.
And today we're going to discuss another topic that pertains to relationships. But before we get to that, how are you, babe? I know you're getting ready to go back to school. You're getting ready to get back into a busy rhythm of life.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Well, it's been an incredible summer. This summer was one of the first summers that I chose not to work.
Yeah.
We planned for it. So, we saved all year long so that I didn't have to work in the summer.
Yeah.
But it was really nice to actually be home with the kids. And it was a very restful summer.
Yeah.
I feel like after starting a new job at a new school, doing a new grade level, and you with a new job, and so much that happened over the course of this year, I literally needed the summer just to recoup and to rest and to spend time with the kids.
Yeah.
And, to be that steady, just be home with the boys. So honestly, it was incredible.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know, but the reason why you weren't able to do that before is because I was a real estate agent and we wanted to make sure that we were financially okay over the summers and stuff, but things have changed. God's been good, and
yeah. And last
you were
year,
able to take some
real
time.
talk, last year, they were offering pandemic pay for teachers to work in the summer. I think that still happened this summer.
Yeah.
But last summer, I was like, oh, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to work. I'm not going to work. And then I heard what they were offering, and I was like, I'm going to work. But this summer, I was like, I don't care. It can be $1 million. I am not doing it this summer.
They can offer me life.
I just wanted to be with the kids. I feel like there's time that I'm not going to get back with my boys.
Yeah.
And, there's summers where I have worked and summers where you've been able to be with the kids. And, we've switched on and off. So I feel like, for me, you can't put a price on that.
Yeah.
I'll squeeze pennies, which fortunately we didn't have to do because we planned for it and saved and things like that. But, yeah, I'm not ready to go back to work.
What was your favorite part of the summer?
My favorite part of the summer... it was probably our trip to Tennessee.
Yeah.
We just got back about a week ago from a trip to the Smoky Mountains.
Come on.
It was so beautiful and so scenic.
Yeah.
And
we might retire out in Tennessee.
Honest to God, I was like, Lord, if in 10 years you call me to Tennessee, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
But it was just beautiful and so relaxing.
We had a bear break into our car. So that was interesting.
We went with family, and it was really fun. And there's something about nature. I just like to be outside. You know me. I love.
Yeah.
And when I mean be outside, I don't mean I like to hike and do anything rigorous at all outside. I'm not that person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I actually just want to sit outside and read a book with a blanket.
Yeah.
And we stayed at this really cool Airbnb cabin. It was gorgeous. It was literally at the top of a mountain.
Yeah.
Wasn't
that drive
it scary?
up there was a little bit scary and sketchy. I ain't gonna lie. Up those mountains, you look like you're
The
gonna
higher
fall
we
over
got,
the edge.
we kept looking at each other very nervously.
Are we doing a wrong turn movie right now?
It was pretty scary.
Yeah.
Literally, if you made the wrong turn, you were going off the mountain and off a cliff. That's how high it was. But it was really, really cool and really fun.
Yeah.
And such a great way to end the summer. So I am just not ready to go back to work.
I'm ready for you guys to go back.
I know you are. You're always ready for us to go back to work. Even though he's working too, he's still ready
I'm gonna
for us
get my
to go back.
Fridays back to go fishing, to go riding, to go do whatever
He's
I
off
want.
on Fridays, so he gets Fridays to just do his thing.
Yeah.
And so normally in the
amazing.
summer, I have all of our Fridays planned because it's his only day off.
Yes.
So I'm like, we're going to the beach. I try to squeeze all of our fun into that Friday. So he's kind of ready to redeem that.
Yes. I'm ready to
And-
get it back. Ready to get it back.
Yeah. So I'm just grateful.
All right. So, topic for today is drumroll.
I wanted to talk about, because we've been kind of on relationships, and I do actually want to touch other things.
Yeah.
So this might be our last relationship topic
For a little
for
bit.
the next
Just
few
for a
weeks,
little bit.
because I'd love to dive into parenthood and just so many other things. But I thought it would be cool to talk about something that other people have talk to me about, and things we've experienced in our own relationship when we first started dating, which is like losing your identity in a relationship, or like, yeah, that's kind of a good topic, I think.
Yeah.
Even like in marriage, I think it's really easy to lose your identity. We kind of touched upon that, I think, in our first or second episode.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be really good to kind of dig deep into that for anyone that's dating or anyone that's kind of finding it hard to be your own person outside of your spouse.
Gotcha.
And I remember like when I first started dating Jose, we were young.
Did you feel like we ever lost ourselves in
100%.
each other?
I know that because my friends called me out on it straight from the jump.
Shout out to good friends.
Yeah. So when I first started dating, when you first start dating anyone, you are in that phase of like, it's the honeymoon phase.
Yeah.
Everything they do is amazing.
Wonderful.
It's passion. It's like
yeah.
you just want to be around them all the time.
The way they breathe is
The way
supernatural.
they breathe is incredible. Like, you literally just want to be around them all of the time.
Is that how you felt about me, babe?
Yes.
Yeah.
I loved being around Jose. When I wasn't around him, I was calling him. When I was like on my way home, I was calling him.
After hanging out with
hanging out
for
with you
like
all day.
3 hours.
And I couldn't stop talking about you. And it was just.
And it annoyed your friends.
Yes, it did. It really did. But I think it was like that season too, when, like I said, when it's fresh and you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm in this relationship. It's like amazing.
Yeah.
This guy is incredible and I'm obsessed. And so like, I just want to talk about him. I want to be with him. I want to like hang out with him all the time.
Yeah.
And I just remember like one of my friends just like, girl, pump the brakes. She was like, I don't even know this guy. And she just like was like, hey, like, hi, remember me? Like, do you remember your friends?
Funny.
Do you remember like what your life was
Yeah.
like outside of this person that you've just met that you're literally obsessed with? And I feel like over the years, like we've learned to be able to enjoy like being in a relationship, enjoy being together, but at the same time, we are able to have things outside of ourselves
Yeah.
that I think is really healthy for any relationship, where it's like, yes, we love each other, we love to spend time together, but I also have thriving, healthy friendships and things that I can pour into, and I don't forget about the people in my life just
Yeah.
because I love you and I'm obsessed with you still.
So, how do you know when you've lost your identity in a relationship? What are the kind of red flags to kind of let you know, hey, you're kind of stepping into dangerous territory a little bit? What does it look like to lose your identity?
I think when love turns into like crazy obsession and like you can't take a minute away from that person.
Yeah.
Like you always have to be with that person 24/7. I think like if you start neglecting friendships, which again, guilty party,
Yeah.
like because you're just like, well, I just want to be with this person. Like I've already hung out with you my whole life and now
Yeah.
I have this new incredible person I'm getting to know. But I think like if all of a sudden the balance is way off kilter and that person becomes like
An
literally
idol.
everything. Yeah, like an idol. I'm not talking about, I think that's literally, you just nailed it. Like
Yeah.
if that's an idol where it's like, okay, even my time with God, I'm neglecting that. Like
Yeah.
my time for other people, neglecting. Time
Yeah.
with family, don't need them.
Yeah.
The things that used to be important are no
Yeah.
longer important because I'm literally all consumed with this
Yeah.
person and I don't know who I am outside of you
Right.
anymore. I don't even know like my identity as a daughter of like Christ, you know? I feel like that could just be scary territory.
Yeah.
And I think like it's really easy when you're dating someone to go into that zone. And so I thought it was just something that we could kind of tackle, like how to make sure that you still maintain your own identity as a dating couple and even as a married couple.
Yeah.
Because I think, yes, like the two of us, we become one, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are still things that God has called me to do,
Yeah.
us to do together. But there's
Yeah.
things that like God might have for me,
Yeah.
you know? And even like being married to a pastor, you
Yeah.
know, it could really be easy to lose my identity in your role of
Yeah.
like, okay, like this is what God has called you to do, and like I'm here to support you, and God has called us that to
Right.
as a family. But I think too, like, okay, but God also has something for me
Yeah.
as well.
That's a really good point, because like if you're the only one sacrificing all of your dreams, your hopes, your passions, your calling, your purpose
For that person.
for that person, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like if you no longer have goals or dreams or passions or a desire, because you are, yes, you the two become one, but you are
After you
also
get
your
married.
own
Yeah.
person with a purpose, with a calling, with a destiny that God has placed over your life.
Yeah.
And if you're the only one sacrificing all those things, you've lost who you are.
Yeah.
You no longer know what those things are, or you can no longer envision those things for your life. And that's a scary and sad place to be, I think. And that
Yeah.
would be a red flag,
And I
right?
think it's easy to like lose your identity in someone that you love. Like we do it as moms.
Yeah.
We could say even as like a mom, right?
Yeah.
Like I can find literally all of my identity in motherhood, where it's like I'm a mom. I'm this, like my identity is in my children, and like
Yeah.
everything in my life is about them. And I can lose focus really on what God has, like, or on the different things God has called me to do and to be. And I think it's just something to be really careful for in a relationship, because it's something that can hinder you in the long run, or it's something where it's like you can become resentful of it, or even people can resent your relationship because
Yeah.
you are going into the zone of like unhealth, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So that's a good, like, what are some things, like, what are the dangers of losing your identity in your relationship?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would say one of them is losing really important and valuable friendships.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, like you're literally sacrificing lifelong, fruitful, healthy friendships at the altar of this relationship. And that's both a sad and scary thing, right? That
Yeah.
you've given up relationships and friendships that have been fruitful, edifying in your life. Like, thank God for that friend of yours who,
Yeah.
was like, hey, girl, like,
Slow down
slow
the
it down,
brakes.
pump the
She
brakes.
was
You know
like,
what I mean?
Hughes, okay.
Accountability
He
is
is not all
so,
that.
and here's why that's important, because in healthy friendships, I was talking about this with a pastor yesterday, and this is why it's important to even like be connected and plugged into a church, but it kind of applies to like healthy relationships and friendships. When you do not have healthy relationships and friendships, you don't have either accountability or
Yeah.
encouragement. And you need both,
Yeah.
right? Like you need
Yes.
somebody to say, you got this.
Yeah.
You could do this.
Yes.
Hey, I support your relationship. Your relationship is going to be awesome. Or, hey, I know things are a little bit chaotic right now, but you guys can make it through this, right? Like, hey, I know you're struggling in this area, but it's going to be all right. Hey, I know it looks hopeless, the situation. Maybe you're struggling with having children, or maybe, you're struggling financially, or maybe you're going through a little hardship in your
Yeah.
relationship, and you need people around you who could say, hey, you guys are going to make it through this, right?
Yeah.
But then you also need the accountability
That can call you out
to be like,
and call you
hey,
up.
that was a really stupid decision.
Yeah.
You really ought to reconsider that.
Yes.
Or, hey, yeah, I probably wouldn't talk to her like that.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I probably wouldn't talk to him like that.
Be really
Or,
leery of
yeah.
people of people who will only blow smoke up your butt and in your relationship, and who will not be honest and speak truth to your
Yeah.
relationship. I can say for us that was not the case. We had some very truthful people speak into our
Yeah,
relationship.
we had some people that
from
are
the
not
jump.
afraid.
But
at
it was
all.
good because they were able to call out things that were really unhealthy, flat out. And they were like solid friends who would be like, hey, I actually think this is terrible. Like, your fighting style is horrible. Like, it's super unhealthy. And like, and it
Yeah.
was able to kind of like give perspective of like,
Yeah.
oh, this actually is terrible. The way that we're communicating is
Yeah.
horrible. And we need to
work on
figure that
this
out,
big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that accountability is really important. And I think what I see a lot of the times is like people willing to surrender their complete selves and like all that they are to a relationship to the point where it becomes like, I no longer know who I am because I'm only defined by like this
Right.
relationship or by this person, by
Yeah.
who you are.
And that could be in so many different areas, like your morals,
Yeah.
your principles,
Yeah.
right? Like you've been saving yourself all your life, and now all of a sudden, this guy or this girl comes in, and it's like
You might compromise your
you
beliefs.
might compromise your
Your
beliefs.
faith, where it's like, oh, well, I was always only going to, you know, for me, faith, I've said it before, it's really important. So I want to date someone that has the same values, that believes
Yeah.
in Jesus, you know?
Yeah.
And so for me, if I compromise, then I'm losing a part of myself and like what I actually stand for.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of times you do see in relationships where people, they literally lose themselves in that.
Yeah.
And it's like you look at yourself and you no longer recognize who you are in the mirror because you have found your complete and total identity in that person,
Yeah. And that could be devastating on so many levels.
Yeah, it can
Because
literally ruin your life.
God forbid something happens and the relationship
Go
doesn't work.
sour. Yeah.
Now you've got people who genuinely have no idea what to do with their lives. They're devastated
Yeah.
because they only found their identity in this person,
Yeah.
in this boyfriend, girlfriend, spouse, or whatever the case may
Yeah.
be. And it's like, you were never meant to be my identity.
No.
You were never meant to
Too much
define
pressure.
my life.
Yeah.
Right?
It's too much
You were
pressure.
never meant to define my identity as a man, as a husband, as a father, as a son.
Yeah.
And I cannot put that pressure or look to you for that definition and identity.
Yeah.
Right? Because when things go bad,
And sometimes
that's
they do.
devastating and crushing for your mental health, your emotional health, your
And to literally
spiritual
wonder,
health.
who am I outside of that person?
Yeah.
Like, I made this person my entire life. I blew off everybody, or like I didn't value the things that I once valued.
Yeah.
And now I don't have this anymore. And who am I? Like, I
Yeah.
literally don't know who I am outside of this person.
Yeah.
I've lost myself to this, So it's like, honestly, if you're in a stage of dating, or even if you're in a marriage stage, like, still have your identity in Jesus. Number one.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
that's your go-to. Like, who am I in Jesus? Like, who
Right.
does God say I am as his son, as his daughter?
Right.
Knowing that is number one, and like having that foundation
Yeah.
so that I'm not going to lose myself in like these titles or these roles, and I'm always going to be confident in that.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I think the scary thing is like seeing so many people, it's so tempting, because I said, like before, I did that in the beginning of our relationship. Like,
Yeah.
it's so tempting to literally throw yourself full throttle in and to kind of push everything and everybody to the wayside. Some people sacrifice their dreams. Some people sacrifice their careers.
Yeah.
Some people sacrifice a lot of different things because they're like, this is like who I am. This is like what I'm about.
Yeah.
You know?
I would say that's what I love specifically about you is that, for example, I'm a pastor in full-time ministry at Fusion Church, and I love it, right? And when we planted Versa Church and all that stuff, like, you've always been real honest and vocal about the fact that, like, hey, I love you, but I love my career. I have my own passions.
Yes.
I have my own purpose that I feel like I need to fulfill.
Yes.
I've got my own dreams and desires. Even with worship, it's like, hey, I love you and I love worship and I can help you with this, but I also love this area of ministry. There's other things that I'm passionate about, and so I don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
And that's huge and you can't do that unless first and foremost you know your identity in Christ.
Jesus. Yeah. 100%.
Which is like step one.
Yeah.
Solidify your identity and your relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Your identity in Christ, your relationship with Christ.
So you can even be in a
Read
healthy,
your Bible.
fruitful-
Spend time in prayer. Spend time around
Yeah.
other people who believe the same thing that you do, and let them sharpen you, encourage you, motivate you, push you
Yeah.
towards Christ and being your best self in Christ.
Yeah.
right?
And I can say too that you've always been really good about not trying to, like, you've been really good at championing my dreams and
Yeah.
like not really even letting me be completely lost in you
Yeah.
without intentionally realizing it, you know, like you always I'm a person that will sometimes sacrifice. That's my nature.
Yeah,
Like
you're a people pleaser.
I'm
You're
I'm not
you're not
I'm
a
a family
people
pleaser.
pleaser,
Like
but
I want my people
you
happy.
don't like conflict.
Yeah, but I'm also the person that will sacrifice her happiness at the altar of like as long as you're good, as long as the kids are good, like if
Right.
everyone's good. It's the middle child in me, it's the peacemaker in me, it's
Yeah.
the 9 in me with the Enneagram, but like
And I always have to be like, hey, it's okay to be about you too.
yeah, like it's okay to still love the things that you love. You
Yeah.
know, I think coming into ministry, I had a really specific idea of what a pastor's wife looked like in my head of like that identity of like, okay, well, pastors' wives, they go to church literally all the time and they host people all the time and they probably play piano and they love children's ministry and like all this other stuff. And that's not me. And I don't really like any of those things, but I
Yeah.
do like my own kids. And, you know, like, I feel like knowing my identity or like really having to dig deep into being sure that I could be confident in that
Yeah.
helps me not to like get lost in the sauce of like what you were doing or
Yeah.
roles and expectations that I
Yeah.
feel like I had to live up to
Yeah.
because you're a pastor.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about like losing identity in each other, like we are one. There's so much that we do together. There's so much, like we worship together. We love to hang out together.
Yeah.
Like we travel, like we love to do life together.
Yeah.
That's why we're married. Like, duh,
Yeah.
right? You're going to become one. But at the same time, there's things that we both like to do that we still get to do outside of each other.
Yeah.
I haven't dropped all of my friends because now I'm married. I haven't dropped
Yeah.
my family or my hobbies or
Yeah.
you know, my mom or whatever the case may be. Like,
Yeah.
they are people that now get to be part of that journey with us. They come
Mm-hmm.
alongside us, they support us, they're included in that, but they're not people that I've just said,
Yeah.
don't need you anymore because I'm going to be consumed with
Yeah.
like all that you are,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. So, what are some things that you could do to set yourself up that'll keep you from losing your identity in your relationship?
Number one, surround yourself with honest people and be willing to listen to what they have to say. And honestly, ask them hard questions because some people will not be willing to be forthright. Like, it's not
Yeah.
easy to come to someone and be like, hey, here's the blind spots that I see
Yeah.
in your relationship, right? I wouldn't go necessarily, like, I don't know that I'm just wanting to hear that from someone,
Yeah.
but
And please, please, for the love of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, do not ask people to keep you accountable
if you don't want them to keep you accountable.
and then get all upset when they actually hold you accountable. I love what you said. Don't just surround yourself with people, but be willing to hear what they have to say.
But create a culture where people can speak into that.
Yes.
So, like, actually ask the question. I think a healthy question to ask is, hey, like, what are some positive things you see in our relationship? And what are some things, some blind spots? Like, what are some areas that you notice that you think I can work on or that you
Yeah.
think my person can work on? You know? I think be wise about who you ask the question. Find people you genuinely respect. Like, find people whose relationship you admire.
Yeah.
Like, find mentors, like people that can actually see you, know you, and speak into your relationship and aren't afraid of you. Because there's people that are close friends, there's acquaintances, there's all different kinds. You don't want to ask the acquaintances.
You don't want to ask the
wanna-
acquaintances.
No.
You don't want to ask the people who
No.
don't know you at all. You want the people
who will
around
literally
you
walk with
who
you.
know you.
They see the good, the bad, the ugly.
Who have seen you at your best and have seen you at your worst.
People who aren't
have
afraid to hurt your
journeyed
feelings or
and
make you
walked
mad.
with you.
It's okay.
Yes, people who aren't afraid to hurt your feelings. People who aren't afraid to make you mad. Who are not going to blow smoke up your butt. Who are genuinely, like those people. All right.
Yeah.
Don't ask the coworker you've only been working with for 2 weeks or whatever the case. I'm talking about people who have journeyed through life with you.
Yeah.
Who know.
Preferably people that
Who
you
know you.
admire, respect, or people
Yeah.
that literally just do life with you, like
Yeah.
close friends to you. The
Yeah.
second thing that I would say is I would say to continue to make time for the things that you love and the people that you love
Yeah.
and include them in your relationship. So we talked about like asking them to hold you accountable and like to give you insight, but also include them in your relationship.
Yeah.
Like my best friend Stephanie, she would say she was like our third wheel the whole first few months of our relationship. She hung out with us literally all the time. Like,
Shout out to Stephanie. She was on the podcast last time.
yeah, so like bring them along. A lot of my girlfriends, they were like that we'd all hang out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there was a lot of time where I just wanted to be with Jose, but we also brought other people alongside. Like, I didn't want to just drop everyone like a sack of potatoes. And in the beginning, like, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God.
And I would say that's even good. This is off topic, but that's even good for accountability purposes in a relationship.
Yeah.
Boundaries. We can do a whole podcast on that. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, I think include people in the mix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, include them in your relationship. Hang out with your friends still. Like, you know, make them feel like they're part of the journey with you.
Yeah.
Like, so that they are. I feel like we all had like a good group of friends. We kind of had like
Yeah.
a crew
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we all, you know, that we hung out with and got to spend time with together, you know?
I would say for the third one, I would say find and discover the things that you're passionate about,
Yes.
the things that you dream about,
Yes.
goals that you have in your life, and pursue and invest in those things. Right?
Yes. 100%.
Like, discover what you're passionate about, what your desires are, what your goals are, invest in those things and pursue those things, and allow your significant other, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband to like champion you in that.
Yeah.
And if they can't champion you in those things, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
You know, that's a red flag.
Yeah. If someone's asking you to give up everything for them, that's kind of like possessive. That gives like,
Yeah, that's a
that
red
gives
flag.
like control vibes, and we're not for that.
Yeah.
You know, like we've talked about before, there's things that Jose likes to do, there's things that I like to do that we still encourage each other to do, because I love that you have your passions and hobbies.
Yeah.
You love that I have my passions and hobbies, and it's important to do those things. And I
Yeah.
think too, like, actually sit down to dream together and to share your dreams with your partner,
Yes.
with your person.
Have the conversation. You know, I really think before we move on from relationships, our next podcast has to be conversations that you should have
Before you get married.
Before you
Lord
get married.
Jesus.
as you're married, whatever the case may be. But it is okay to have conversations in your relationship that actually carry some weight and substance.
Yes.
You
Hard
know,
conversations,
like
they're-
talk about it.
They're not always fun, but they're
Talk
worthy.
about it. Wait, Natalie, what are your dreams? Natalie's always asking me, hey, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Sometimes it could be a little bit annoying, right? Because I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to get by tomorrow, you know? But honestly, I love that, because it's like, she's not just asking me just to ask. Like, she genuinely wants to know, hey, and she's got, like, she's already thinking about this stuff, and she wants to tell me about it. I'm like, okay, let me hear your 5-year plan or whatever the case may be. And it's like, just communication.
We literally
man.
just had the conversations today sitting outside.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, where do you see us? Or
where do
like,
you
what do you
see
feel like
us?
God's doing in the next whatever? And
have those
Yeah.
conversations. Hey, what are you passionate about?
so
What-
your partner can help you.
Yeah.
Like, bring them in on those things so that they're also helping you achieve the dreams that are important to your heart.
Yeah.
And like for me, I will listen more than I will say out loud.
Yeah.
So like, I'll ask the questions, but when Jose asks me, I'm like, you know what? I need to think of, or like, it's just,
Yeah.
you know, but it's good when he does, because his whole thing is like, well, I want to help you. Like, it's not just about me. I want to help you achieve those things. Like,
Yeah.
if writing is your passion, how can I help you achieve that? If like blogging is your passion, how can I help you achieve that?
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, he's coming alongside of me, still helping me achieve things that like I feel God has called me to.
Yeah.
And we're not like, I'm not just completely saying, okay, I'm just going to take on your identity and
Yeah.
your passions and your dreams. Like, yeah, we have things that we do that are together, but at the same time, like I said,
we
there
are
may be things
individual
that God
people.
has specifically called you to
Yeah.
that you need to not get lost in the sauce
Yeah.
of your relationship, or let it die, or just push it to the side because you're in something that feels so good, so shiny, so new, and like you want
Yeah.
to just be all about that person.
And I'll just give one little disclaimer on that, okay? Guys, be realistic with what your dreams and passions are.
Dream
Okay?
big. You can be anything you want to be. I believe in you.
I just think like there's some level of like, but also if you're the listening party, right? Like if you're the listening party to your boyfriend, girlfriends, husbands, wives, whatever, like don't criticize, right? Like just
Yeah,
hear,
if their
just
dream
listen.
sucks,
Don't
literally,
criticize. It is not your
don't tell them
dream.
that from the jump.
It's their dream. Now, if they need a little bit of realism, you give them some
Yeah.
constructive feedback,
Like,
when it's your turn.
yeah.
But, don't criticize. Don't crush your person's dreams.
Say things like, tell me more about that.
Yeah, help me understand.
Help me understand. Let's explore that. Let's dive a little deeper into that.
Yeah, let's bring some clarity.
Yeah.
Right. And but don't go crushing each other's dreams.
Yeah.
That's also to me a red flag. Like if you
It's
can't.
discouraging. Like
Yeah.
if someone's telling you something, if they're trusting you, like if Jose's trusting me with a dream that's wild, like.
And I
then
can have some wild dreams.
Yeah, my husband is a dreamer.
I'm a
y'all.
dreamer.
He's a
Yeah.
visionary. He is like, I'm a realist, and like
She's got to reel me in.
I'm reeling him in on the regular, But at the same time, like I will listen, and I'll be like, okay, all right, like
Yeah.
okay, let's talk more about that, But I think like I feel like as we've been married, it's
Yeah.
something that I think we've been able to still have our oneness, but
Yeah.
also our continue to follow like passions and
Our oneness, but also our individuality.
yeah, because that's what God made us to be. Like
Yeah.
we're together, and together we're amazing, whatever,
Yeah.
all these things. But like we still have our individual passions and stuff. So if you're dating, my encouragement to you would just be, don't lose your identity
Yeah.
in the person that you are dating. Like, be sure to have a healthy relationship. Surround
Yeah.
yourself with people who will speak into that. It's okay to still have your own hobbies. It's okay to still do your own thing. Like you don't have to completely get
To
lost
have your
in the
own
sauce.
friends.
I think it actually makes you more attractive to
Yeah.
see you doing things that,
Yeah.
that make you happy and that like are
She
healthy
just likes
for
seeing me in
you.
my cycling kit.
Yeah, it's the tight pants. It's the booty chokers for me, guys. Like it's a whole vibe. It's a whole look. But yeah, that's just kind of a topic we wanted to touch
Yeah.
on, and we're excited. Like I really want to get into some parenting topics.
And we are going to. But until then, hey, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel,
Share
hit that
it,
bell,
tag
share
us
it,
in
comment.
it.
When you hit the bell, you get notified every time we post up new content on YouTube.
Yes.
So make sure you subscribe on any platform that you'd like listening to our podcast on, Spotify, Anchor, iTunes. We're on all those things. Hey, we love you guys, and we
Thanks
will
for
see
tuning
you
in, guys.
next time.
Bye.